Tonight we're just going to have a very cheap dinner, and I know it's not on everybody's taste, but I reckon if you give it a go, you might actually like it. My husband had this when he first met me, and he was like, "Ew, I wouldn't eat that." But then actually, you know what? He's kind of liking it. So tonight it's liver fried, requested by my husband. This is chicken liver. I bought about a kilo, and we're going to fry this with some oil, and then we're going to serve it with some polenta and with some green beans. Now, before we start the frying process, I'm going to cover this with a little bit of milk. It helps out with softening it. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to leave this one covered with a little bit of milk while I prepare my other dishes, and I'm going to get to it later. So I've started frying the liver, and remember, we're not going to put any seasoning on it. Next thing I'm going to do is chop the ends of these green beans and devein them, because we don't really like the threads in it. And then we're going to saute these with some onion, and then we can just put some water on top and let it boil until it's sort of like al dente, not too mushy. Now I like to use lard and butter, but you can just use oil if that's what you have inside your house. So I'll just let this melt, and then I'm going to add the onions and saute for a little bit. Okay, so I've added the onion and a little bit of Vegeta. It's like this gourmet stock you can find even at Coles at Woolies. But if you do not use this as a product in your house, then you can use seasonal, or you can just use salt. It's not necessarily, I just like the taste. Anyway, so I have it on medium now. I'll let this saute for a little bit, and then I'm going to add the beans, saute a little bit mixed together, and then I'm going to put some water on top and kind of let it simmer until it has the texture that I like. My husband sometimes will add a little bit of bacon to this, like chopped up bacon or chopped up speck. He likes that meaty, smoky flavor, but I don't. So this time it's going to be a very basic version of it. So I've added the beans. Okay, just gonna stir it a little bit with everything else, not for too long, and then I'm just gonna pour some water on top and let it simmer, covered on low. And in the meantime, I'm gonna make my other dishes. So I've put some water just to cover the beans, and then I'm just gonna let it simmer on medium, and I leave the spoon in there and just leave it open a tiny bit like this. And then at the end, when they're ready, you just leave them in the sauce and serve it as is, and then you can discard the sauce at the end. And that's my green beans side dish for almost every roast, chicken, pork, beef, fish, anything. It's a very good side dish. It goes with almost everything, and my kids really like it. So yeah, it's a good idea to get some greens in their diet. With the livers, we're going to make a little bit of a garlic sauce, and we're just going to make our own garlic sauce. It's not like those fancy aioli thing that you buy. It's not as creamy and mayonnaise-y and things. It's just literally just garlic, salt, a little bit of oil and water. So I have this little mortar and pestle, which is timber. I found it to an Asian shop in Sydney. You probably could just use any, like even the ceramic ones is fine. So I cut a few cloves of garlic, and I added some salt in it, and I'm just gonna start mashing this one a lot until all the juices come out. And once it goes all like really smashed and all the juices and everything are out on the side, we're gonna add a little bit of water and a little bit of oil, and it's just gonna have like this creamy texture on top, and we're gonna serve this with the garlic. It's really yummy. This is kind of like the texture that you're meant to have. Actually even a bit more finely chopped than this. I'm going to yeah, just do it a little bit more, and then we're gonna, the garlic sauce is ready. It just looks like this. So when we serve it, we can just put a little bit of this juicy garlicky sauce over the liver, season it with salt and pepper, and we're going to serve it, and we're going to have it with some polenta and some of the green beans. That's what's for dinner tonight. Okay, polenta. I am going to cook my polenta on my iron cast dish because it doesn't stick. So basically first we just have to boil some water, and then we're going to add a few cups of polenta, and we're going to mix a lot. So that's what the secret for polenta is. Let's see how this goes. The water for the polenta is starting to boil, and I'm gonna add a little bit more of it, and then I'm gonna do lots and lots of mixing, and I'm probably not going to be able to videotape that because I'm all by myself and I'm recording this with the phone, so I only have two hands. But I will show you how it will look at the end. I'm also gonna add a little bit of cheese in it. We do like to have it a little bit cheesy, but it's totally optional. I guess the polenta flour is a little bit like couscous. The more you mix it, the more it's going to yeah, double up in size. So this is the texture of the polenta, and it's gonna get even thicker. It kind of like, I added a little bit more, but it kind of goes like you'd make vanilla pudding, I suppose. It takes a lot of mixing, and you cook it because it's on low, because otherwise it would spritzel everywhere and then you get burned. So this is dinner. I know liver looks a bit it's not everybody's taste, but it's really yummy. And if you don't season it while you're cooking it, it should really melt in your mouth, and it have like a pate flavor. So if you like pate, you're gonna like this. Give it a go. This is polenta, and these are the beans, and I covered it with a little bit of the garlic sauce. Okay, I hope you guys like it, and if you do like it, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.